All right, David, I've been looking forward to this interview. I have had the chance now to speak with you three or four different times on lengthy conversations where we got a chance to collaborate and discuss all forms of things related to your marine plasma. And as you know, MasterPeace is a holistic product. From the beginning, we knew that holistic formula, such as the one that we were trying to pull off, which was going to get out the nano and picometer size toxins out of the human body and replace it with the most nourishable product, our nutrient spectrum that was available on Earth. And what I've come to realize in our discussions is that you might be one of the top two men, I will say right now, the most top two intelligent men on earth that I have spoken to in recent time. You know, I try not to embellish on anything and whatnot. So when I say that, I mean that. MasterPeace, at the beginning of our formula process, we knew that we had to have on the front end of the formula a binder to toxins, something that was going to enable the removal of the toxins out of the body. And so we looked at humic acid and other types of binders that are available. And we did all types of research, countless hours. And what we came to the realization of is that zeolite is the best binder out there. And so we quickly learned that this whole new, deeper level of toxicity is occurring at the intercellular, intracellular level inside the cell. And with that, it's disrupting the functioning of our cells. And in past times, when we were talking about heavy metal toxicity and those kind of things, we were looking at the fact that it was more in between the cells. So it was kind of micrometer, which a micron or a micrometer is smaller than what the eye can see. So it's past the visual realm of things, but it certainly isn't so small that it gets inside of a cell and whatever people want to discuss as a blood-brain barrier and whatnot. So what we wanted to do was develop a binder and toxin removal system that was the very best. And we knew that with the back end part of the formula, if it was nutrient dense, which is why we got you here today, David. We're going to be talking about you're 99% of our formula. Your product is 99% of our formula. We've been fortunate to get to help out people in over 30 countries now. We are growing exponentially. We try to operate all of our functions to the very best of our abilities on behalf of the highest good for all of humanity. And I think that we're doing it. I know our inner core team, I have personally never even seen anything close to like it. And we are doing everything we can, and the results are speaking for themselves to help people. So, but when we took our zeolite part of our formula, back to that, and got that into a 300 nanometer sized range and less, and which we knew was going to get out the toxins, we knew that just as important in that whole synergistic alchemic process of transforming and transmuting the body into its best version, we also needed the most nutrient dense stuff. And so I know that we've never gotten a chance to discuss the backdrop of what that looked like for MasterPeace during the formula process, but let me tell you what we looked at. So first off, we looked at how if we could do anything like bee pollen into the formula. And we looked at the different ways. And bee pollen is very healthy. And from bee pollen, we moved over to pine pollen. And then we looked at combinations of it all. And so what we landed on after those two, and we looked at them, which were very healthy, by the way, we moved over into fulvic acid. And fulvic acid obviously has a lot of good, well-ratioed trace minerals and whatnot. And then we found what is, from there, the next big step and the next better product. Again, we were trying to look for a perfect human molecular composition blueprint, hologram, if you will, that uh, the human body, if they ingested the formula, if it sees, in this case, marine plasma, we wanted the body to go into its state of healing, like, oh, this is exactly what we look for. As soon as we have something this healthy in us, we're wanting to do cation exchanges. We're wanting to and replace minerals from where there was heavy metals and different things, and do all forms of its miraculous, I guess you would say, let's say a homeostasis process. And so here's my big question for you. Two questions. First one is this, because we did our research and landed on your marine plasma. I would love to know, first off, where you harvest your, in terms of what does it look like where you harvest your marine plasma, and why do you harvest it there, and what is in it? Okay, and so I'm just gonna turn you loose, and our David, I think you speak Spanish, right? Speak Spanish. You're from Spain, I could.
Yeah.
So your English is pretty good, but speak slowly so we know each word.
Okay, I will try. I will try.
I have many geeks, and I have many people that will watch this video, and this is not a conversation that any of them gets to, unfortunately, be a fly on the wall and get to hear like they're going to hear today. So I want to turn you loose. Let's maybe go it in just stages of questions. How does marine plasma, with and the process that you guys have, and then what does it look like compared to fulvic acid? What does it look like compared to things like bee pollen too? And how bioavailable is it? Some of our readers are very, very intelligent and understand that you got a micrometer, you got a nanometer, which is nanotechnology, nano this, nano, anything nano means we're in the nanometer range. And then you got picometers, which is a lot less than the nanometers. So let's just start deep diving in that, and we'll go one question at a time, because I want people, my goal in this is that people can finally hear why, after countless hours of research, MasterPeace landed with your marine plasma.
Okay, so thank you, Matt, for the opportunity to explain to the people what is the marine plasma, what we can do for everybody, and let's dive into it. Okay. So the first thing that I will explain to everybody, and I am explaining to myself every time, is that we have to understand that there is a huge biomatch between our bio water, between our intracellular fluids, okay, and the marine plasma. If we are agree, and everybody will be that the life starts in the sea and everything. Well, there is that guy that was called Quinton, that he discovered that there is a high compatibility between our and extracellular fluids and the elements that are in the seawater. Okay, so the first element, the most abundant element in the sea, is the most abundant in the liquid that your cells are floating. Okay, the second is the second, the third is the third, the fourth is the fourth. Okay, so there is a correlation, a huge correlation. It's like our body needs that full spectrum. That full spectrums of minerals and trace elements are so important in order that our cells do what they need to do, in order to maintain the homeostasis. Okay, so if we agree that there is a super biomatch between our blood and the seawater, then we start to understand how important is the thing is related to our health, to our homeostasis. Okay, So what they really need the the cells in order to do what they need to do is mainly water and mineral salts and trace elements. Okay, that's the basic, that's the foundation, that's all and everything that you need to start. The others, they are super important, but they came later. Okay, that's something that's really important, you know. And why is so important water and trace minerals for cells? Because it's like the key and the lock. They allow, in that case, to the zeolite to penetrate much more deeper in a gentle way, in a natural way, and everything. So it's something that the body can recognize, and it's okay. I recognize that thing because this is how I am. So there is like a biomatch. That's what we call, it's a biomatch. So what is the marine plasma? Because marine plasma is not seawater. It's not only seawater. It's produced by the sea, but it's not just the regular seawater that you can find in the beach and everything. Okay, so what we do?
What is? Sorry to cut you off completely, David. What is the difference between seawater and marine plasma?
Exactly. It's the same different in the metaphor. In the metaphor, like when you compare spring water and tap water, you can say it's water. Yeah, yeah. But spring water has like a healthy properties. Okay, and tap water, they don't have any benefits at all. So the one of the things is to understand that there is that high compatibility because we choose uh, the world periodic table. Not all 92, 95 minerals, but almost all the world periodic table that there is in the sea, we have also in our body. Okay. The second stuff that we have to find out is like we have 9 grams of mineral salts in our body, and in the sea we can find 36 apples. Okay. And the other thing is the bioability. Okay, we are mammals. We don't have the quality like the plants, the bacteria of fungi to take everything that is in the earth, the nutrients that are in the earth, and do something with it. You cannot eat a rock, a soil. You cannot eat many things. We can eat only things that have been processed by another living.
You're saying, sorry again to break you up, but what you're essentially describing is the difference between organic and inorganic minerals, correct?
Right, right, but
Okay.
it's not correct. Organic and inorganic minerals are always inorganic, but plants, some bacteria, they have the ability to unify a inorganic molecule with organic molecule. They have a bond. They go together. It's like the minerals are in the soil through the roots. They absorb. They need sun. They need water, and they give you a tomato. A tomato, okay. And tomato is rich in potassium. Okay, that potassium is not anymore in the set chemical state that it was in the soil. The state right now is what we call is a high viability. Okay, so it's much more easy to absorb because the plant has the quality, has the skill to make a bond with some organic cells of the plant, and then you have the potassium unified with some molecules of the plant, and then you have a bond that for us is easy to absorb like a nutrient. So that's why there is a huge difference between marine magnesium or the magnesium that come from a mine. Okay, it's totally different. Okay, it's magnesium, but the other one it comes from a living being, and for us we recognize that thing. It's like to have the key of the lock, and then it can go in.
Quick question. So what you're essentially saying is, in that example, you may have magnesium that's here that comes from marine plasma, and you have magnesium here that comes from a mine. They're both magnesium, but one is highly bioavailable and will get metabolized and ingested into a body,
Exactly.
and the other one won't. And I think that we can all see, most of the people that will hear this broadcast at some point, David, will know that just like in the prescription pills or vaccines, they put a lot of heavy metals in there, and it's done because it helps absorb the other things in the process. So they can use less ingredients because the absorption rate goes up so much. It's all about metabolizing and bioavailability. And so let me ask you just a real quick question. Is there anything on Earth that anybody has heard of yet that is a proper spectrum or close to a human proper spectrum of minerals that is more bioavailable than marine plasma for a human body? And the reason why I'm asking because if something can be, I'm always looking for the most nutrient available products. It's not just like what's in them, right? Because you can have magnesium in it, right? But it's like how much of whatever you're taking is going to get into your body. And I just want to get that question real quick, and then I have one more question right after.
No, those are super big questions. Okay, so let me because are great questions, super interesting, but are really big. Okay, so if we understand that we need to have nutrients that come from a living beings, then we understand that food is super important. Okay, so if we are clear that bacteria, a plant do that, in the sea, in the oceans, is the plankton. Okay, the problem that we have with the plankton is the volume of the sea is so huge compared with the plankton. Even that the plankton is the first trophic chains of the world. It's producing more than 50% of the oxygen and nutrients, and it's super important for our planet. But even like that, the volume of water, is even bigger. So we need to find a special spots when there is like a meeting currents, and those meeting currents, what they do, they pack the plankton. So we have the plankton, we have and right now when we have the plankton and we have the meeting currents, then because of the meeting currents, like a toroid is happening. Okay, because you have to understand that the sea have like two types of movement, minimum two types. There is more, but let's make simple. The horizontals, wind and waves, and the vertical column. Okay, because of the change of density. So there is that movement and that movement, that movement and that movement all the time. Okay, so when you have that meeting currents, the water goes through the plankton, and the inside of the plankton there is phytoplankton.
Do you mean like this logo? Kind of?
Slodo? I don't know what is Slodo.
No, this logo that's right.
Exactly. The logo. Exactly. Exactly. We are plankton, so the water goes through the plankton, and the phytoplankton, what they need? They need water, mineral salts, and they get nourished, and they make through one thing that is called marine biathenosis. They excrete a substance that is seawater that have been processed and pre-digested by the plankton. Okay, so right now you have the biggest trophic chains that has pre-digested the liquid that has the most quantity of elements in the world. Okay, so you have a full spectrum of mineral salts that have been pre-digested. Nothing in the world you can find. You can find great stuff, but everything is specialized.
Are you saying the core, the main part of the like the food chain in the ocean is plankton?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So the main part. Okay. Okay. So you're basically saying. Okay. So
it's more important. Okay. It's more important than the jungle. Much more important than the jungle. The biggest trophic chains in the world is in the sea, and it's the plankton. The plankton is huge for us. You know,
Okay.
it's huge for climate. It's huge to have food. It's huge because it gives you oxygen. Is huge because you have all and everything that is in the earth is in the sea. All and everything. Okay, so what we are
So
getting.
what is the trophic chain? So you're basically describing the food chain. The trophic chain is
Oh,
what?
the food chain. Sorry, the food chain. Sorry, my my English. Okay, so here what you have. Imagine what you have. You know, it's like in the beginning. In the beginning, if we are agree that one is pure, the marine plasma, we call hypertonic, and we are isotonic, 36 grams of mineral salts versus 9. Okay, if you make isotonic long time ago, that solution you could substitute by your own blood. They did
Yeah.
that for almost 100 of years in France and in many
Yeah.
countries. You can take
Yeah.
your that solution, and you don't need blood. You can use that thing. Okay, right now we don't do that. All right, but
Give me
you
30 seconds. What he is talking about is for anybody that wants to take the couple minutes that it will take to get a real education on this. Go to oceanplasma.org. Oceanplasma.org. It will show you that when you take marine plasma and you dilute it down so it's the proper salt ratio, mineral ratio, which means its ISO are the same as isotonic marine plasma. They have done studies. Now, get this, people. This is what he's actually talking about. Go to oceanplasma.org and read about this. They have taken all the blood out of large animals, and there's other studies I just don't want to quote that I haven't, unless I can know for sure. But they take all the blood, which is the life force, out of a living mammal, a big animal, and then they put in isotonic marine plasma and do a total blood transfusion with isotonic marine plasma. And unlike what you see when people have to get emergency blood transfusions in the hospital, which afterwards they feel terrible for months, they feel like it changes them forever, and they don't. The last thing they would think is that it's healthy or felt good. And when they get instead a blood transfusion with isotonic marine plasma, they get up and they're like, "Oh, I'm so happy! Oh, I got so much energy and everything is, and it is that healthy for your body. Your body recognizes isotonic marine plasma, which is 99% of what's in the MasterPeace formula, as something so healthy that you can replace your blood with it. And in studies, it's proven that it upgrades the human body. And that is a lot of the reason why I'm so happy that we have gotten a chance to begin our relationship and go into this, because you know what MasterPeace is meant to do is, in a holistic way, remove the bad and replace it with the best good. And we have the best way to remove the bad. We have 97% clinoptilolite zeolite and a bunch of it, and we have it where it is literally about 7 to 20 times more than anyone that's done a nano zeolite out there. So any of our competitors, if you want to say competitors, and we literally have that removes the bad, and then we have isotonic marine plasma that is replacing the good. And that is, it's so simple. You know, David, I don't know if you know this fun fact, but if you want to find the cleanest marine plasma, seawater, and all that, in terms of like no heavy metals in there and stuff in the world, you go to where there's zeolite at, where lava has gone into the ocean and it makes zeolite. That's how zeolite is made. And that is where you have no heavy metals in the seawater or anything, which means it can operate real good. So what we're taking is we're taking the cleanest part of the sea, which is right by plankton, where there is a natural vortex circulating everything and making it super nutrient dense. And we're taking that, so we're taking the best part of the sea and we're taking the best way to bind out toxins and we put them together. If there was anybody out there that had anything healthier than what you have, we would have used them in a heartbeat and would have never looked back. Because just like we did with Quinton water, just like we did with Mineralogic fulvic acid, which has the highest level fulvic acid, and because of the way that you actually get your product harvested and where you harvest it from, how conscious you truly, obviously go about doing your process and how much you care, is the exact reason why I'm tickled to death that we get to have a relationship and do this for mankind. Quick question for you, David. When you go down and you harvest your marine plasma, how deep is that in the ocean?
There's like a range between 30 and 50 meters down. It's like 100 and 150 feet. But the sea is not something that is absolute. To do what we do is we study the conditions every time. That we go out.
Let me ask you a question. Keep it simple for everybody. But it looks like if you're looking at that toroidal field, it looks like you probably want to harvest right where I would say like the hourglass is, right where it comes together, or below. Where do you want to harvest it at, and how do you make sure that you get that done when you go to harvest it? And again, keep it simple for people, but I know that this is your life and this is your life's passion.
Well,
and yeah.
We have like a multi-parametric probe, and we look for a relation. There is some physical parameters that will tell you if there is the plankton right there, if the condition of the marine plasma is good or not. We look for the pH, for the redox, the resistivity, and also the oxygen, and also we look for the chlorophyll. Okay.
You get in a boat.
Yeah.
Your company, and you go and
my partner,
and you test it, and you make sure that you are getting, because you care about the people who are going to be taking your product, and you go and you use all your different forms of testing to find the best place, and then you harvest it.
You know why? Because I didn't start that business because of money. I started that business because this marine plasma healed my body. And then that thing made me think what really I have changed in my life. And I realized that was clear to me that it was the sea. So that's why we start to make all the research, and I try and we start to heal, to drink, to do everything with the marine plasma. The results after 1 year, because I have a lot of problems, allergy problems, rhinitis problems, polyp problems. I have my health. It was not good, and the marine plasma gives to me again the homeostasis.
So, quick question. You guys, the recommended dose is 10 milliliters a day, which I do religiously, and that would, in terms of, so sometimes people ask me if they can get their recommended dose of trace minerals and all that from taking 12 drops of MasterPeace. But I know that that's not possible because 1 milliliter is 20 drops. And so 10 milliliters, which is a dose, would be 200 drops, and that's not our dosing range. We're trying to basically provide the body a signal that says, hey, here's marine plasma. So
Exactly.
what do you take? What do you take? What do you take? You and your wife, what do you take a day of marine plasma?
A lot, more than 10 milliliters.
Well, I know, but how
Uh,
much? How much is good for you? How much do you take?
I will say to the people that normally 30 milliliters, 60 milliliters is a good range. Depends of your health of the state. If you have a good health of the state, 10, 20, 30 is fine. You know, but if you want a therapeutic shot, then you have to take a higher doses. Okay, you have to
Do you
increase.
dilute yours down? Do you dilute yours down, or do you just take it marine plasma?
Depends. Okay, and if you wanted to, you can dilute it, or you can intake it pure. But if you do pure, you cannot swallow straight. You have to put in your mouth. You have to hold it, and you have to move like a mouthwash. You know,
Right.
because why? Because we have a lot of enzymes and in the mouth, thank you to the saliva, okay, and that's enzymes are so important in order to absorb of the nutrients in our intestines, and also for the trace minerals. It's really important.
You're saying enzymes. You are saying enzymes in the mouth.
Enzymes, enzymes.
Enzymes in the mouth. And so
Sorry.
now this is a no. You're perfect. You're perfect. I want to make a quick point for people because this is
Yes,
important.
yes, yes.
We
You're
tell
right.
people, yes, we tell people when you're taking MasterPeace to, when you put it in your mouth, to leave it as long as you can and swish it around. We used to start off with an isotonic formula, but now we've moved it to a very hypertonic formula. It is more dense with minerals. We had to, because we got really good equipment where we had to put more, we could put more zeolite. So, because our mission is to provide the most nutrient dense and the most capable of removing as many toxins as possible, because people are not rich. People do not have an unlimited amount of money. So what we're trying to do is help mankind the best that we can. So what we just David, actually in the last 2 weeks, just to let you know, from the last time I explained the formula to you, we've just made our product twice as much zeolite, twice times two. And so I ended up having to add in twice as strong as marine plasma, because I didn't want people to get detox symptoms and Herxheimer detox symptoms, and they need a lot of minerals there for to replace all the heavy metals that our zeolite in our formula was. So we always tell people, don't take this MasterPeace at the same time as your foods or other things, because your body needs to read the marine plasma. It needs to see that there's marine plasma in there. It needs to start getting ready and happy and allowing and permeable. You want your cells to be ready to do cation exchange and transmutate and get back to homeostasis and release the bad and take in the good. And that is what the marine plasma does. It is so nutrient dense that your body's very happy. And then the zeolite, which is super small and a whole lot of it goes in there, and all the toxins grab it, and then the zeolite is purged from the body. And I just wanted to hear from you and get your explanation that you just gave us about how, yes, when you take marine plasma in the form that it is in MasterPeace formula, which is very dense, you want to swish it in your mouth.
When you work with pure marine plasma, it's going to happen a bigger reaction in your mouth. Okay, so your body will be ready to absorb everything, and it's going to do that through the enzymes. Okay, that's really important. Everything that you do with the zeolite and everything, the one that is going to be in charge to give all the information to the body is the enzyme function. And the enzyme function and the marine plasma, they go together. So it is a great combination. You know, if you do pure,
Yeah.
that's great. Okay. But if some people, for them, it's so salty, they can dilute it. The diluted is great. You dilute it in a glass of water, or you can make isotonic if you wanna, 75 plus 25%, and then you have an isotonic. Isotonic is great because it's really easy for the body to absorb. But here we wanted to give a specific information. So pure is even better because the information will arrive really, really fast, really, really quick. It's hard to say, but I will say close to the speed of light. You know, like a 30 second, between 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then you swallow. Okay. That's if you wanted to do pure. That's the best way to do it.
Let's talk about absorption, or metabolizing, or bioavailability. And I know that you have not tested MasterPeace at all. So
Yeah.
I'll just quickly explain to you that most of the world, most of the market, most of the information out there, when they're talking about health supplement products, they're talking about micrometer, or what they call micronized level. And that is, you can put those powders in water and it'll dissolve real good, right? So, and that's where most of the level of ingestion too, because that size particle is what can get into the body, how deep it can get into the body. So what MasterPeace is we're a lower level, so we're a higher absorption of zeolite in this case, which is at the nanometer level. And what that means is anything that's less than 300 nanometers or 100 nanometers, depending on the body's the situation, depends on how much gets absorbed, like where it gets absorbed, which is the deepest recesses of the body, which is the cellular level. Now, correct me if I am wrong. If you took picometer-sized minerals in the marine plasma, which of course is as bioavailable as it gets, and then you take highly bioavailable, but not quite as it, of the zeolite, which is us at the nanometer size range, when you make a formula with it, and you take that formula into your mouth and you swish it around, that means that the minerals in the marine plasma should be able to make their way in a little bit faster, a little bit deeper, and be able to tell the body, hey, we are the most nutrient dense, the happiest thing that you would want to work with. And then at the same time, the zeolite has a chance to allow that, where everybody has their defenses down, because you're not in a healing crisis, you're not in a fight or flight body response, and you basically get to have the zeolite grab the toxins as easy as possible. And of course, zeolite is not digestible. Zeolite's not digestible. So you have this amazing digestive picometer-sized minerals, and then you have nanometer-sized zeolite that comes in, takes the bad, and leaves. And that's kind of what we have been doing here. And but does anything on that information that I just relayed and said, does any of that contradict to what you're thinking is? Because I want to hear, I'm always completely open-minded to anything I can to make this better, because that's all we really care about.
No. The only clarification that I will do is, like, for us, when we talk about the trace elements, minerals, or even the zeolite, or wherever, for our point of view, we need to understand that the minerals, trace elements, all the elements that are in our body, they work in synergy. Okay, they work in synergy. With the cell. Okay, so the cell, is the one that give the orders, and the mineral, the marine plasma, and the zeolite, they are right there, for the cells in order to do what they need to do. If you have to describe how the marine plasma will be for the cells, is the principal raw material for the cells um, in order that they can do whatever they need to do. Okay, that they can be in homeostasis, That's the best description that you can make of the marine plasma. So if the cell has a problem and you give to the cell the right tool, in this case marine plasma plus Zeolite, they know how to use it. That's the greatest stuff. They know, and they know that through water and through negative charge, because we are a negative entities. We are electrical entities in negative charge. They found that they have some toxins, and they know that if you use what you are giving to the cells, they can use it. That's the greatest stuff. But they don't use it in a way that they take that toxin, that toxin, that toxin. They spread all the information. That's why it's so great for the body, because it's not specific for something. It's not specific just for the heavy metals. It's for all and everything. That's the great stuff. And so it's not isolated. It's not just to take out all the toxins. It's to maintain the homeostasis. So that's the great stuff. You have toxin. You have to take away those toxins. But for our point of view, it's not like they go specific to those things. So you create the conditions, to send that information. And then because they have the right information and they have the right vehicle, that is water and mineral salts, that information can arrive to the whole body, and then your body start to the detox process in a natural way.
When we're taking zeolite and getting it down to a level that it all is intracellular capable, and it's the highest quality zeolite that we sourced as good as we could, and we're literally doing pure marine plasma in the formula. And could you think of a better way to purify the deepest part of a human body and replenish it with nutrients?
No, I don't think so. But something that will always include, and what we are talking about, is that the people, they have to understand that they need to drink good water. This is a great chapter to talk. Clean, pure, and vitalized water, structured water. That's really important. Good food with no toxics, because that's really important stuff. Because we are here talking about all these things about the minerals and the zeolite and toxification, but we need to set up to the mind of the people that they need to change their life if there are too many toxins. They are doing something wrong.
Yes.
And mainly it's because no good food, no good water, no good environment, things like that. So you have to do everything at the same time.
That is key. They have to drink clean water, either distilled or RO with minerals. That is a good mineral supplement, or at least not tap water, which has chlorine and fluoride. At least in America, it's terrible for you. Just to let you know, David, we take your marine plasma and we send it through a water vortex magnetizer, and then we also and we do it that way, and then we stir it the other way with an analemma wand, and that's our whole formula. So our formula is structured. We pull the positive charge out of it, the positive polarity out of it. And so we have a strongly negatively charged zeolite with marine plasma formula. And that is structured and charged. And, pretty cool.
Huh? Our marine plasma is a structure. I have the analemma.
Yes.
I have been doing some tests with analemma, and the people, they don't understand what is the difference between vitalized water and imprint some information in water. It's two different states. First thing, you have to have clean and have great structure. You have to have vitalized. And then you put the information. And then if you want to seal it, you could again to make the vortex. But they have to be always in that way. First, structure. Okay, this is that photo is something that we did in Japan in Masaru Emoto lab. Okay, and this is the photo of the marine plasma.
I can jump in and say that the Emoto photography is some of the most famous water structure photography.
Well, that's great stuff because if you see, this is an hexagon. Okay,
Yes.
the one in the left is an hexagon. Okay, and here is something really important about how the sea and the water has that memory that Masaru Emoto was trying to prove.
Is the water in our bodies, David, hexagonal shape?
We have a lot of our water have that kind of a structure. A lot, not all, but a lot. The body has the ability, depends of their needs to a structure to vitalize the water. Okay, that's a great stuff because the body they needs to move with different charge. It's like we say we are a negative electric entity. Okay, and we have more or less a specific charge. But the great stuff is not something. It's not always the same number. It moves depends of the needs of the body. Let's put an example. If the cells need to duplicate, is the need to replicate the cell, they need to make higher the negative charge. Okay, so depends. So that's why they need to flow the cells in a water that is pure, is vitalized, is what we call crystalline water, and with all the full spectrum of minerals because they will use it for whatever they need. So we have that the body have the skill, to transform things. If they have the right tools, they will do all and everything. There's a great authors that they prove that even they can the body of biological being can transform elements into another's. That is something amazing. That's something amazing. So if that proof why some people they can live in some islands or wherever, maybe they don't have a lot of variety of food, but they have the essential nutrients, and with this they can make all and everything that they need. And one of them is, of course, waters and mineral salts. Because mineral salts and the amino acids, that proteins, amino acids, mineral salts. So are really important for our body, all and everything. All the vitamins are absorbed or are helping, thank you to the mineral salts. And so
The higher the negative charge of the human body, does that mean the more like life force or energy or vitality that person has?
yeah, for me, yes and no. Again, is if you it's like imagine that you can run really fast. Okay, you have that ability to run really really fast. You are the fastest guy in the world. Okay, but you don't have to run all the time, but you have the ability, and if you need it, you are going to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff.
Wow.
The body
I
has the
love that
ability.
analogy. That was such a good analogy. I really, that was a perfect
So
analogy.
it's the potential to make
Yeah,
all and everything,
potential.
okay? But only if there is a purpose in there. If there is not a purpose in there, it's like animals. You see tigers, you see lions. They lie down all the time, and
Right,
their
right.
and their muscles are so tight, they are so strong, and everything. When they need to run and hunt, they do really fast. They don't make warm-ups. They don't.
Right.
They are ready. They are ready to rock. Boom. And this is exactly what I'm talking. You know, what we are doing with the marine plasma, with the zeolite, is giving to the body the possibility to have the biggest potential, you know.
But what you're actually saying is a point that is so huge that for people to actually understand that if they get out these toxins and they replenish it with good nutrients, they become a form that has the potential to act at its best and its finest. And and that is, if people can really get that, that is so huge for their empowerment.
Exactly. That's what we are looking for. We are looking for the people that they have to discover that they have incredible power. And if you have toxins in your body, it's really hard to see that kind of thing. It's really hard to feel it. Okay, so we need to find those products, those nutrients that are so important for our body. And water and minerals are something critical for your body, and be clean is something really important. You know, when some people they say they have some devices that, oh, here we have dirty water, if I put the device wherever the device is, now it's clean and vitalized. No, this is not, it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? You have to clean your body. Clean your body. If you clean your body through good food, good water, good wherever you need, you know, then the potential of do all and everything appears. The potential of some cures, the potentials of some changes in your life could appear. It's a could, okay? That's the point. So one of the things I wanted to comment about that photo that is so cool, you know, and I will finish with that. If you see the points of the hexagon, you will see, I don't know if you see, but they look like pines. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Ibiza and Formentera, for us, in our language, because here we don't only we speak Spanish but also another language. Okay, is like a pine land. That's what we call Ibiza and Formentera, pine land, and there you have the pines. You know, so that energy that are in those spots is in the water, is in the marine plasma, but water without mineral salts doesn't exist because they need to have a negative charge in order to be useful for life. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's something really interesting. And the other one is like a fractal. You know, here we use a Schumann frequency. We put it Schumann frequency with a marine plasma. You know, that's pretty cool. You know, Schumann frequency is very important for the earth and us and everything.
This is amazing. And we need to get your website so people can go on your website and actually learn a little bit to see about it. And the reason is because man, I almost need to work out something with you, David, because I would love for people to get an opportunity to get this marine plasma, even through me at some point, because we have a huge group building. We're gonna be exponentially bigger. Yeah, we want people. Marine plasma is as healthy as it gets. So, okay, let's get your website so people can make sure that they can go there, and we'll put that on there. Okay.
I put it in the chat. It's Ibiza Formentera Marine Plasma.com. Ibiza Formentera Marine Plasma.com. You can share with people and everything. If they ask me for anything, I will be really happy to answer them and everything. But here is the stuff what we did. You know, one of the things that I told to the people about the marine plasma, you know, about the zeolite, because zeolite, what it's going to do is give to the homeostasis to the people all the time. That's the most important stuff in the body, is the homeostasis. It's so important that the body put a lot of energy to maintain your pH, your temperature, your blood pressure. If something of those things they will change, you have a problem. Okay, so all the time, all the water they use, why the blood pressure go up? Because there is not enough water in your body. So the body try to get from you more water, and so on. So all of the masterpiece, what you have, the combination of all of these, what is really doing, it's not something for me, my point of view, it's not something about to remove toxins. No, no, it's achieve homeostasis. That's the most important stuff for your body. Achieve homeostasis, because if you are in homeostasis, in good homeostasis, all the toxins they will go out. All your problems, your health problems, they will really go down. So it's like that's our goal. To be in balance, in good balance. Then we cannot provide our real potential. Is when you wanna in the body, when some information arrives, it's happening through quantum physics. And quantum physics, the energy will spread in all directions, and in that way, the body will be sure that the information arrives, and because they have a purpose to arrive to the point A to the point B, always will find the shorter way to give that information. But this is so important. It's not like a mail, like a letter, and then you put in the box, and the letterman they deliver. No, it's not something like that. It's something that happened, and really high speed, in all directions. So because there is something in our body that is in balance, the body knows that it's in balance, is looking for the right ingredient, for the right information to be again in balance. In balance, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's exactly the function of the water, of the mineral salts, and in that case of the masterpiece of the zeolite. Because the body is going to recognize, because of the size and everything. Oh, I can use that. I can use this. That's great, and I can send it through all my body. Boom.
So this marine plasma, to the very best of the wealth of knowledge that you obviously have, you harvest this with a conscious, well-intentioned mindset to harvest it in the most perfect area that you can find. And
Exactly.
this perfect mineral ratio that's in the marine plasma, those
Exactly.
minerals are in the picometer size, correct?
Depends. That's what I say. There is one that are bigger, one that are smaller. You need all and everything again. It's not like it's like we cannot separate it. They go together. The biggers and
Well, we've analyzed MasterPeace formula with dark field microscopy, which goes down 1600 magnifyings, which
Mhm.
really means you can kind of see down to about 300 nanometers,
Mhm.
and we can't see your minerals. So I know
Yeah,
your
yeah.
minerals are pretty small. I know they're pretty small.
It's
But I
pretty
just don't know.
small, because one of the things that we think in the marine plasma there is minerals. It's not like that. Marine plasma and marine plasma is not water with minerals. It's marine plasma. It's something that is unique. It's something that you cannot separate. It's something that you could not divide it. It's what it is. It's not water with minerals. It's like a living being altogether.
What is the difference between seawater and marine plasma?
Marine plasma has been processed by the plankton. It's in a toroid field. So it also has a greater structure. Seawater, no. In seawater, we don't have that structure. We don't have that viability.
Is there
No.
such thing as concentrated seawater?
It's a subproduct of the sea with not viability, and it's totally imbalanced.
Can you describe what you know concentrated seawater is? What is concentrated seawater and who sells it? Do you know?
I don't know who would sell it, but concentrated seawater for me is a concept that doesn't make any sense. You cannot concentrate the seawater. It's like I told you.
Right.
Seawater, marine plasma is where it is, and you cannot transport, touch, add, or take anything. The minerals only make sense if they are bioavailable and you have a full spectrum of the minerals. So the body can do whatever they want. It's like food, you know. Food is something that you have many things. You have minerals, you have protein, you have fat, you have all and everything right there. You need all and everything right there. So in order to have that biomatch, that absorption, that to achieve that homeostasis, you cannot concentrate all and anything. The critical thing here is just listen the nature. Try to go with the sea. Try to see. This is, what happens sometimes. We cannot harvest. Maybe we have some orders and we need to do things, but we cannot harvest. Why? Because the conditions are not the good ones. So we don't harvest.
Right.
That's the key, because that's the greatest stuff about what we do is the sea, who is telling us when it's ready to give that marine plasma.
If you had to try to tell someone who didn't know much about anything with minerals and salts, what is the difference between sea salt and marine plasma?
The first thing is that in the marine plasma you have all the biomatch, all the elements that are in your blood. There is in the marine plasma, and also there are in a chemistry way that for you is really fine to absorb. Okay, in the sea salt you are not going to absorb anything, never, because it's a substance that is great for preserve food, that is great, but all your minerals that you are going to use for your body in a nutritional way, you get from your food. Okay, and because the marine plasma has been predigested by the plankton, yes, right there you have a liquid form that for your body is really easy to absorb, to use, to do whatever the cells they need to do. With sea salt, no way. That's why sea salt give blood pressure problems. I am not against salt, but you have to put it in the place that deserves.
What is the difference of concentrated seawater and marine plasma?
You cannot concentrate. It's like, let me concentrate your blood, let me concentrate your muscle, let me concentrate your liver. It's something that you cannot do.
Because there's companies out there that are putting on their labels for a couple years now that they use concentrated seawater as their mineral replacement.
Yeah. What we do, they extract maybe some minerals from the sea, and they put together, but they don't put all together. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because it's their business. But the point is to have all and everything in a bioavailable state. That's the point.
Right.
I mean, all is, for me, so weird to take the marine plasma and extract the magnesium, the sodium, the potassium, the calcium, and then to make a formula. This is something that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like, imagine that example. It's like, imagine that we wanted to have an orange juice without orange, or without vitamin C, or without one ingredient that is really important in orange juice. It will be not orange juice anymore. It will be others.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, it's with all the foods, with everything. You know, you cannot take out everything. You know, nature is perfect, and marine plasma is something that the nature makes. So
Yeah.
everything that you put in the lab is okay, it's okay, it's great that you do the mix, but you have to take care and be really careful. You have to be really gentle and be the most natural way that is possible. What you do?
If we were trying to find a source anywhere in the world that is as bioavailable and as nutrient proportionate, balanced, harmonic, if we wanted to find something that a human body or even our pets could take that was going to be so the most complete nutrient perfect thing. Is there anything that we have found yet that is as complete as marine plasma?
I didn't found nothing more complete than the marine plasma in those terms. You know,
Okay.
having in mind that we need to have food and water and everything. You know, we're talking about something that is going to help your body. I didn't find anything. You know, if that substance can substitute your blood, is the biomatch is incredible.
They can literally take blood out of some
You know,
animal or person and replace it with isotonic marine plasma, and it
you know
upgrades the
exactly.
person or the animal.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's something that nature creates, you know, life start in the seas, in the ocean, you know, and so we are going back to our origins. You
Yeah.
know, we are giving the original clue, the original information to our body. You know, that is the most primitive information, you know, primal information for our body, you know. So that's
Awesome.
what I think.
David, your time today. Thank you so much.
You're really welcome.
This has been great. I know that you're a busy guy, and just getting a chance for our listeners to get to hear you and really explain your whole process about how you go about gathering up the marine plasma and so forth is priceless. So,
I
yeah,
wanted
Matt,
to
we're
add
good. Oh
I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
add
yeah. Please.
one thing, Matt. I think your project, what you're doing, is something incredible, something great. I think it will help to the people, you know, in that specific time that we are living right now. You just arrived in perfect timing, you know, so the people they have to know that this is a project, a product that can really help to the people to maintain what we say, the real potential, you know, it's something that it can heal your body, you know, and keep you homeostasis. That is something, the most sacred thing for us is to be in balance in our body. Then other stuff can happen, you know. So what you're doing is point you up in that direction. So I think it's really important, and we have to recognize the thing. So thank you.
Yeah, we got an unusually a team. I've never seen anything like it. We none of us are perfect. We have our weaknesses, but boy, we are very complimentary, and I know for a fact, and which has been measured and tested, we are operating on behalf of the highest good for all of humanity. So that's how it's been every step of the way for us, and that's not going to change. And that's why we found you guys too, because your product,
Congratulations.
there's nothing. Yeah, it's a great matchup. All right,
Yeah,
guys.
it's a great match.